Hello, hello. We are live. Welcome to Oh My Loaf. My name is Frank Kramer. I'm the host and I'm the founder of Oh My Loaf. So in today's live stream, I'm going to bake a loaf with you from one of my baking mixes. So if you have at any point any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Before I get to this, I would like to tell everyone, if you don't mind introducing yourself and um, saying your name and where you're from, so I know you're there. It's always nice to talk to an audience. Okay, great, wonderful. So we're also discussing the challenge. As you all know, we are currently in our uh, first week of the gluten-free and plant-based challenge. So the preparation week is completed, and we're going into the first week. The meal plans have been published, and we will talk about this after I have baked the bread. So um, now we're going to talk about my bread mix that I've promised you I will cook for you, and I will go to every detail so you know exactly what to know, how to make your own favorite gluten-free bread. I know it's so difficult to get good tasting gluten-free bread. So from this point of view, I'm hoping that you get a little value out of it. I will also talk about traditional gluten-free um, tips and problem-solving topics that will help you make your own gluten-free bread. I understand not everyone is into my gluten-free mixes, so if you bake your own gluten-free bread, that's fine. You may get something out of it, and I hope you will stick with me. Towards the end, we will reveal quite a few interesting and valuable things throughout this live stream. Okay, as you know, this is a live stream. It's not edited for those of you who are watching this later. It will not be added um, because it's a live stream. Okay. Um, okay. So Karen is just asking me why is it difficult to find my presentations. Actually, they should be right there in the Facebook page where I published it. So I apologize for that. I also sent out an email um, with the link to join me. Okay, great. So without further ado, please introduce yourself one more time in the comments and where you're from, so I know you're there. Thank you so much, and let's get started. So in today's live stream, we're going to do seed the moment, which is a bread mix that has no yeast and no leavening whatsoever. So it's basically um, a very wholesome, uh, seedy bread mixture, and it's one of my favorites because it has no sugar, it has no starches, it won't raise your blood sugar. So if you compare the ingredients to some of the other bread mixes or ready-made bread that you can buy in the supermarket, you will see uh, it has only organic ingredients. It has oat flour, organic oat flour, brown rice flour, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, sorghum flour, buckwheat flour, flaxseed, psyllium husk, sea salt, and that's it. There's nothing else. It took us about 2 years to get here to this point. It took me quite a while to figure out the perfect um, gluten-free mix so that you just have to add water, a little bit of oil, a little bit of vinegar, and that's it. And I'm going to show this to you in just a minute. Um, Great. I see we have some more people watching. Wonderful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Um, I know that before we start, I wanted to say a big thank you to all of those who have bought my starter mix. The starter mix is basically you get two mixes. One is two different mixes. Usually one seed the moment, and the other one is Love You Like Crazy. These one is a yeast dough, one is non-leavened bread mix, and you will get a baking pan with the starter mix. And this is really the most important part. You get this baking pan. This looks a little used already because I use it quite a lot. You get a spatula, you get a brush, you get a scraper, you even get the parchment paper that we need to put into the pan. The only thing not included is the water. So that you have to put in, and a little bit of oil, a little bit of vinegar. That's it. You can literally start at home right then and there once you get that box, and 2 hours later you have gluten-free bread. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to empty my mix in a bowl, and I make it as simple as possible because I know some of you don't have a machine. So I'm going to make it very simple in a pot, especially in a pot, and add the water. So what we want to do is we just want to give it a little mix. Just mix it up a little bit so that all the ingredients are perfectly mixed. Then we add 500 grams or 500 milliliter of water. 500 grams a milliliter is almost the same. There's maybe a gram or 2 grams difference. So it's basically the same. So we're going to add this. I'm going to add everything to it. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of oil and 2 teaspoons of vinegar, apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to start mixing. So very simple. You just want to make sure that all the flours are incorporated and that the water is being absorbed. You can tell already the water is being absorbed by the flours, and we're going to keep mixing it. So this is the most important part. You just gotta keep mixing it for about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and once the water is completely absorbed, you will see that it will become a real dough, like you used to when you make traditional bread. It is maybe a little bit wetter than usual doughs. That's for the reason because gluten-free flours absorb a lot more water. Okay, so what you want to do is you just want to scrape it from side to side, mix it up like this, just like this, until the mixture comes together and the water is all absorbed. If you have a mixer fitted with a dough hook, that would work just fine, or even better. Then you don't have to exhaust yourself with mixing the dough. But I want to make sure that anyone who doesn't have a machine can afford to make a gluten-free bread. And you can tell it's coming slowly together. Mix it just a little bit more. So for those who have just tuned in, I'm making one of my bread mixes. I want to show you how to mix it and how to bake it. That's it. So I want to show you a little trick. I have already cut or pre-cut this parchment paper, so that you get the idea how I did this. I just cut the corners away, So I go with a spoon for that, right? I'll put it into the pan, and it literally just drops in. See, that's it. Very simple. It's much easier than if you would use the entire sheet. If you put it in, you have all these creases in there, and it's not nice. The bread actually showcases those creases in the bread. It's not going to look as nice as like this. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to use, the mix is ready. I'm going to put it on the table. I'm going to just give it a little bit of a roll. And I roll it up this way. And I want to bring it just into shape so it fits into the baking pan. There's nothing else to be done. Nothing. You don't want to over mix it, even though it has nothing to do with the gluten. But there's no gluten in here. That's why you cannot over mix this dough. But I want to leave it alone so it can rest. That's it. Just like the little loaf. And then we're going to use our, this may be a little bit too long, but that's fine. So what we're going to do is just put it in. Sometimes you have to wiggle it in, and I'm going to push it down. You can use a spatula to do this. Works just as fine. You want to make sure the parchment paper, you pull it out, if it slipped in a little bit. And I'm going to show you in just a second what I'm doing here. So you want to make sure that the bread just looks a little decent. Okay, you want to make sure you go over it, you flatten it a little bit, make it in such a way that you will enjoy it later, that it looks presentable. Okay, that's basically it. You can give it a cut, you can leave it alone. It will, throughout the baking, it will crack a little because some of the air will come out. And wash my hands. I'm going to show you how the loaf actually looks after 45 minutes of baking. I went ahead and started to bake one loaf already. I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay. So the oven is at 425. This loaf, this is the same dough, the same mixture, was in there for about 45 minutes. And now I'm taking it out. I want to show you how it looks. This is after 45 minutes. Can you see it? So you can tell it rose a little bit, but it didn't get brown yet. So that's why we take out the cover. And I'm going to tell you in just a minute why I cook it with a cover. Put it back in. And I set my timer for another 45 minutes. This is the seed of the moment bread. This bakes longer than my other bread. The other one is loafy like crazy. You can separate the two between leavened dough or yeast dough, and the other one is a non-yeast dough or non-leavened dough. So this was a non-leavened dough. This always takes longer because there has no yeast in there, and it needs to be covered for at least half of the time it's baking. For all my other loaves, loafy like crazy or daily flux, they only have to be covered for about 25 minutes, and then the rest of the time, about 50 minutes, you bake it uncovered, same temperature. If it gets too brown, just lower the temperature to 400. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to mention them in the chat. I will definitely definitely answer them. Okay. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Karen. Hi, Mary. Wonderful. Okay, good. Um, Good. I see we have quite a few already who are watching us. Please introduce yourself in the comments. Just say hi, your name, and where you're from. It's always nice to talk to an audience. Thank you so much. Um, so I've started to bake seed the moment loaf, and I'm going to let this rest. This should be resting for about between 40 minutes to an hour. The best results really come if you let them rest overnight and they slightly ferment. If for about 18 hours or 24 hours, this is the best way to get a fantastic loaf out of it. Once you get a little fermentation in the dough, it will rise a little bit more and it will taste so much better. So that's the advantage of seed the moment. With the with the Loaf Like Crazy, the yeasted dough, you cannot let it ferment because there's yeast in there. It would rise and then you would overproof it, and it's not going to work out. That you have to bake within an hour. Okay, so Jackie is asking, do you put a lid on all breads? Absolutely, I put a lid on all breads. So in the instructions, I've previously always said that you can put, for those who don't have a Pullman loaf with a lid, this one here, you need steam. But so that's why I'm offering the starter kit, where you get this particular baking pan with lid. When you put the lid on, you actually create steam inside your bread. So because the temperature is so high, the water is trying to evaporate, and while it's evaporating, it stays in the baking pan, and this steam keeps the bread moist, so it can rise a little bit, and the skin of the bread remains soft. Once I take off my lid, that's when you expose it to high heat, and that's when it browns. You will see, I will show you the other loaf that I have in the oven. You will see how this is nicely browning, and it may rise a little bit more. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in a comment. Okay, another question here. Does it matter that I left the lid on for the first 25 minutes? No, that's actually perfect. That's perfect. You should leave it on for the first 25 minutes. It's okay if you leave it longer on. The difference is the longer you leave the lid on, the softer your bread becomes. So it's up to you. If you want a really, really soft bread, leave it on for 3/4 of the time. That's fine. There's no right or wrong. I like my bread more crispier, so I take it off earlier. Okay, so it's you can experiment, and I think there's no wrong or right doing here. Okay, good. Okay, okay. So we another one here. I left it in for the first 50 minutes and just so you took it off. Yes, you can do this. Absolutely. I left it in for the first 50 minutes. Perfect. Excellent. But remember, the seed the moment needs to bake for at least 90 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes. I'm going to show you a trick how you know if your dough is ready. And this is for everyone. If whether you bake a gluten-free recipe that you just picked up somewhere online or so, it's so to speak a baker's secret. And I'm going to show you my scale. What you want to do is, before you bake your loaf, you want to put it on your scale. So this particular one is 1537, so it's 1570 grams. You can also put it in pounds, it's really up to you. So that tells you how heavy this bread is. There's a lot of ingredients in this seed mix. So you're not just getting a little bit of flour in there. So you get a lot of nutrients in this bread. 1500. So when your bread is almost ready, maybe 10 minutes before, you want to take it out and you want to be careful. You want to take it off with mittens that are heat resistant and put it back on a scale. You want to have lost about 10 to 12%. Like for this seed of the moment, 10% is just fine. So what you do is, for those who have don't know how to calculate the percentage, what I do is I subtract one from the other. That gives me, let's say the bread has lost 100 grams. Then I divide the 100 grams by the original weight, and that gives me my percentage of how much I have lost. Okay, so it's very simple, very straightforward. And I want to show you how the bread looks now. Yeah, it's in there for about almost an hour. It's slightly browning. Okay, so this is the seed of the moment, but it's not ready yet because it's, I can tell that the color is not ready. So, okay, let's see if anyone has any more questions. Can you make rolls out of these mixes? If so, how? Yeah, absolutely, you can make rolls. Okay, what I can do is, I'm just going to take this out, and I'm going to show you how you can make rolls out of this. So this is really an impromptu. I wasn't prepared to do this, but I'm going to do this for you anyway. So you can see that this dough is very, very flexible. So I'm going to, let's see, these are, it's probably a good mixture for a roll. These are very dense rolls, so they are not your ordinary rolls. They rise a little bit maybe, but you see what I'm doing? I'm going to roll it up in my hands. That's all you have to do. That's it. And if you want to flatten that maybe a little bit, and then you may want to put a little design in, like this. Okay. So this is a roll, absolutely. But you cannot let it bake as long as the bread, obviously, because it would become a rock. So, and of course you have to bake it with steam, preferably. What you can do is you can use a Dutch oven. A Dutch oven would be perfect. So you may get about, I don't know, depends how big your Dutch oven is. Get like six rolls in there, and make sure that you grease the Dutch oven, put the loaves in, close it, and I prefer if you heat up your Dutch oven first, so you can put it in the oven, let it heat up, and then you put in the rolls, you cover it for the first 20 minutes, and I would say it takes another 20 minutes to bake, so I would think about 40 minutes it would bake. Okay, so again, you can do the same here. It needs to lose about 10%, maybe 12% of moisture. You can do the same here. You put it on your scale before and after. Just before it's done, put it on a scale. You see if it has lost about 10% of moisture, they're ready. Okay, so yes, they are very, very flexible. These doughs, you can make anything. You can make baguettes out of them, whatever you like. Okay. Um, okay, good. So I think I've covered this. If at any point, you know, you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. And anyone who has um, purchased the starter mix, I actually have put my personal phone number in there, so you can text me at any time if you have any problems, and I will back to you probably within 10 minutes or so. But that's only with uh, my customers. I obviously cannot take on everyone who's asking me questions. That's why we have social media, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But for those who have purchased, I give you my personal number, and you can text me at any time, and I'll get back to you probably within a few minutes. Um, Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Um, that's very nice of you. Um, you still didn't tell me how your bread came out. I I know you baked yesterday, I believe. Um, Let me know how it came out. I'm really curious how if it worked. I know um, I know these mixes are brand new, so to speak. I'm only selling them since 3 months, and I am uh, hoping or I'm collecting reviews of whether bad or good. I want to learn all of that. I'm not perfect. I'm just in a moment of creating bread mixes and wanting to make your life easier and more joyful, because I know I don't eat regular bread because it doesn't make me feel good, and I love my gluten-free bread that I've been making since over 2 years, and it's now at a point where it's ready to go out and being sold, and hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully it's easy for you to create uh, the same results. Okay, so if there's any more questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. Otherwise, I'm just going to touch base on the challenge. So we are at day 7 right now. The challenges, the days are being posted in our challenge group. Um, if you have any questions or so, feel free to go back in our Facebook group. It's Eat Like a Vegan Chef Challenge. That's our Facebook group. If you know on my email list, you have gotten an email about it. If you're not, you can go to my website and sign up for the challenge, and you're automatically um, added to my challenge. So for those who um, were interested in the starter pack, I just going to mention it there. You just take a picture or with your camera, go over the QR code, and that's when you're right there. And regardless if you buy it or not, of course I appreciate it if you do. Um, you can also go back to the challenge, sign up for the challenge. The challenge is free, and you will be added to my um, emails. So um, yeah, so the meal plans have been uh, distributed. You should have got an email about it. And if you have any questions about the meal plans, just let me know, and I be happy to talk about them. But I think they're pretty straightforward. It's a gluten-free and plant-based meal plan. Um, it's a um, very simple meal plan. It should be very easy for you to execute. And some of those who have already participated in my challenges, you know how it works. Okay, I can also give you the meal plan. You can click on it, and that's where you can find the meal plan. You just take a picture, go with your camera over it, and uh, if you're on a computer, of course. Um, okay, so let's see if we have any more questions. I think we're all good. I appreciate you coming by today, and hopefully I see you throughout the week. And if not next next week, we're gonna go live next week, Sunday again, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about gluten-free bread and how to get the perfect uh, bread every time. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you throughout the week. Don't forget to uh, follow my channels, follow my YouTube channel, follow my Facebook channel. That helps me to spread the word, and I'm really appreciative of it. Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Thank you.